Now, Adrian, you can't have soup without bread, so I thought I'd do a Zoe bread. We're going to do a quinoa and chia seed. It's very, very simple. I'm going to start with the chia seed. So I've already got a quarter of a cup of boiling water or hot water. I'm going to pop my chia seeds, and I'm also going to add some oat and almond milk in there as well, so just to sort of get a bit of sweetness into it.
What happened with just bread and flour and a little bit of yeast? It's got all these things in it now.
It's got fancy. It's got fancy, love. But you can see already that is actually becoming gelatinous. So you just want to put a bit of heat into it.
I can't believe when you told me you were doing that, I thought it was just going to be waiting here for an hour.
No, I kept saying it's so quick, particularly if you've got that water warm. Now, I'm going to move those out of the way.
I'll get them for you.
And we're going to start with our yeast. So I've had my yeast sort of fermenting away. It's alive and it's screaming out. So what I want to add is I've got some coconut oil. I've already melted the coconut oil.
You just melt it in a microwave or put it somewhere warm?
It's very. Well, you do need to apply quite a bit of heat, so you couldn't just put it somewhere warm. You'd actually need to put it on a cooktop, or you'd actually need to put it into the microwave.
Okay, sure.
And I've got my honey in here as well. So
I've got a spatula here for you.
That will work. Thank you.
I mean, I see all these ingredients here, and I'm thinking there's something wacky going on, but I'm really interested to see what you pull together from here.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my dry ingredients into my Magimix patissier. Now, this makes bread making so simple. So I've got a cup of wholemeal flour. Nice.
You had to ruin it with the wholemeal. There we go.
Well, you're not going to like this then. I've got some quinoa.
Of course. And that's cooked already?
Cooked quinoa. So cooked quinoa is an absorption process, so it's a ratio of 1 to 2. So 1 cup of quinoa, 2 cups of water. Bring it to the boil and then take it down to the simmer, and you'll just slowly see it absorb. It's exactly like rice, pretty much. And then I've got my 2 cups, so I'm pretty good at free pouring on this one, of my beautiful quality bread and pizza flour. So it's a higher protein flour. It's really good quality, lovely and tasty. And that's our dry ingredients, and then this is going to be our wet ingredients. So I just want to give this a little bit of a mix through.
Make sure that honey's all the way through it.
Yeah.
It's unusual. I mean, it's quite different to have the coconut oil in there. I'm really...
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, that's the rich component. So it's instead of the egg, it's instead of the milk, we're actually using the coconut oil.
Here we go.
Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit of that honey.
Don't waste any of that honey.
Can't miss out on the honey.
Gotta go in there. I think that I'm looking forward to the sweetness of the honey when you cook it.
Yeah,
Can that go on now?
Yes, please. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to pop that on. It's going to actually bind all of the ingredients together, and we're going to take it up to a dough. Then what we need to do is I'm going to oil a bowl, pop that in the bowl, and it takes about an hour to an hour and a half, and you want to have it double in size. I'm then going to knock that back, and I'm going to make them into beautiful little quinoa and chia seeds rolls. Let that prove for about another 30 minutes, and then we're going to bake it. Adrian, look at that. So that's taken about an hour and a half.
You can really see it's popped up, isn't it? Fabulous
yeasty quinoa smell. So I'm just going to knock this out. Oh, lovely and light and fabulous. Let me put this out of here. Now, because there's a lot of oil in it, I really don't need to knock this back too much. So I'm just going to cut it into its little 6 pieces. I think will be perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's it. I'll knock it back as I roll it.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Yeah.
See, this is good teamwork, isn't it? I love
roll
this.
Roll it over like that.
Excellent. So I just sort of fold the corners in and then just give that a good roll. Yeah, that's nice.
Look good.
Excellent. Yours looking better than mine, I might say. All right, I'm going to pop these onto a baking tray with some baking paper on it.
Did you say bacon?
Not bacon.
Oh,
baking.
Baking. Oh, sorry.
I love it.
I'm excited.
All right, so these need to prove for about another half an hour. I'm going to get started with my recipe, and then we can start with yours, and I'll cook these in the meantime. All right, now, my tomato soup is going to go perfectly with my proving rolls. So let's get started. I'm going to get you to finely chop some onion, garlic and celery for me. And I've got my beautiful blush tomatoes here, which are just perfect because they just sing out with some fabulous flavour. Look, I'm a massive fan of tomatoes. They're always things that you've got in the fridge or the cupboard. And the key thing is, I always say to people, don't really put your tomatoes in the refrigerator. The high water content completely changes the flavour of it. It's beautiful fruit.
And also when they're ripe, they make the kitchen smell lovely, like tomatoes. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. Really, really special. All right, Adrian, actually, while I'm doing this, I'll get you to pass me some olive oil.
Sure. There we go.
Thank you. And I'm going to put that into my beautiful heavy base pan there. So I've got about a tablespoon. I'm a little generous on the olive oil.
I like generous. There we go.
He does it. When it comes to fat, sugar, oil, generous is definitely...
Just give them what they want. That's my philosophy.
Oh, I love the smell of cooked onions. There's something really comforting. You can see it caramelising. Pop the celery in there for me.
There we go.
And I just want to saute or sweat these just for a couple of minutes.
Couple of stragglers there.
In the meantime, you and I can both chop the tomatoes. So just roughly chop it. Don't worry about it at all because we are going to blitz this at the end. We just want to put some heat under those tomatoes as well. Pop that in there for me.
Right. They're just beautiful tomatoes, nice and sweet. They're fantastic.
All right. Now, what we're going to add to this is some kidney beans, but I'm also going to add some quinoa. Now, I've cooked my quinoa. It's 1 cup of quinoa to 2 cups of water. It's exactly the way you would cook rice. It's an absorption process. So pop my quinoa into the bowl. And
that'll help to thicken the soup up, won't it?
Yeah, well, the thing is with quinoa, it has that lovely non-glutinous type of effect on the food, but also it's really high in protein and B vitamins as well.
Nice.
I'm going to put my kidney beans.
Good, not too many, that's all right.
More protein, more B vitamins. I've got my baby spinach leaves. And Adrian, I'll get you to chop some of that mint, just roughly chop it, and I'm just going to roughly tear this coriander because, again, like I said before, we're going to blitz this, so I'm not worried about the consistency.
Do you want like about half a cup of mint?
Yeah, that's perfect. I just want the flavour. This could make a beautiful salad. It's so gorgeous.
You could almost serve it up like that. Put some extra virgin olive oil, nice dressing on it.
Now, Adrian, I'll get you to pass me the salt.
Oh, here we go. Now you're talking.
I've got some good quality vegetable stock. I've also used miso stock for this. If you've got the miso at home, it's a little bit easier as well.
Now, I've got some pepper for you as well, Zoe, just in case you're feeling inspired to put some pepper in here.
All right, that's wonderful. So, a little bit of salt, good quality salt always, none of the processed stuff, and some pepper. Now, while this is cooking, we're going to make a harissa dressing because after I've blitzed this, I want to add a little fire into this dish. So what I'm using is harissa. So harissa is a North African paste. It's made from capsicum and chilies. It really just blows your head off. It's absolutely fabulous.
I like that, nice and hot.
Yeah, we like spicy.
And you got a garlic clove. Do you want me to microplane that?
Yeah, you can microplane the garlic.
Sure.
So I've got the harissa in the bowl. I've got some lemon juice. Now, obviously, if you've got a lemon squeezer, use that, but I'm just going to use my hand, which is a very clean way not to get the pips into the bowl.
Is that enough for you there?
Yeah, that's lovely. I'm just going to add a little pinch of salt.
And some pepper?
And a little bit of pepper would be wonderful. And some olive oil. So that is just going to be drizzled on top of the soup.
Not only is it going to be hot, it's going to have a lot of flavour in there as well. That garlic and lemon juice, cut through anything. This
is going to take about another 10 minutes. I'll blitz it, drizzle the dressing on top, and then we can eat it. Adrian, that looks perfect. Let's get finishing with these rolls. So brush it with a little bit of olive oil, and then I'm just going to top it with some raw chia seeds. Pop it in the oven, 200 degrees. It's going to take about 25 to 30 minutes. Oh, I like this. It
looks good.
Beautiful.
Like poppy seeds almost. So if you run out of poppy seeds, you can use your chia.
There we go. That's perfect. Thanks, Adrian.
Into the oven. No worries.
That's wonderful. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm actually going to blitz this soup. And I'll give that to you if you wouldn't mind. I've got my beautiful green bar mix here. I still want it to have a little bit of coarseness to it. I love to have a little bit of texture overall. When you do this, it makes it nice and creamy as well. It's lovely.
It's good. I like it.
Really nice.
And the bar mix is foaming it up as well. It's introducing air to it, so it's nice and light. Nice and light and fluffy. There we go.
All right, that's perfect. I still want to have a little bit of the quinoa. I still want to have a little of that kidney bean, being able to see and taste.
I'm liking this. It looks really good. It looks really, really wholesome. Something that you can have a bowl of this, and it's going to get you through the rest of the day.
This is easily the everyday kind of soup. Don't forget the harissa. Oh, hold on.
I'm just dying to get into it. Now, this harissa is going to be... It's scaring me, actually. It looks red hot, like a fire engine almost.
Well, the temperature's going to be red hot as well as the harissa.
That's really nice. I do like the addition of the harissa. It is hot. It's I can feel it. I'm turning really red now. It's got a great... I like the sharpness of it. It's got a bit of lemon to it. Just chili, just goes straight to me. I like it's nice and sharpness. There's like that lemon juicy sort of flavour to it. I love the look of it and the flavour of it. Nice and sharp. Works for me.
Look, it's a lovely, earthy, everyday soup. The harissa just adds that little bit of fire. You know what, Adrian? I did have a bun in the oven. I've got some more buns in the oven, but let's get going with your soup.
Sure. Zoe, I'm going to make for you, or make with you, because you're going to help me with this one.
Right.
A roasted tomato soup, and I'm going to make a little bit of a pesto with a difference. And I'm going to cook a couple of prawns to go in at the end. So a nice fancy sort of dish,
Very.
Now to start with, I've got some beautiful tomatoes here.
I'm
going to hand them to you.
Tomatoes.
I want you to cut them straight in half, and then we're going to roast them on the tray. But I'll get this this red onion here, take the core out, just like that. And what I'm going to do is we're going to throw everything onto the tray here and roast it in the oven, and hopefully it'll pick up a little bit of the flavour of your bread roll, so they'll sort of flavour each other.
The perfect compliment. I make a really nice tomato sauce for pasta this way as well. Just throw all the ingredients in the oven, roast to get that lovely smoky flavour.
The best part of it is if the tomatoes are a little bit squishy, that's when you want to use them. A lot of people, when a tomato gets a little bit squishy, they throw it away, but that's the best part. That's when it's sweet. That's when you make it into a soup.
And I hate wasting food, more the point, when there's so many interesting ways to actually use that food.
Here we go. Now, I've got some garlic here. I'm just going to cut the garlic in half. Because we're going to roast everything, we want to keep everything sort of largish, and I want that roasted sort of flavour. That's what I'm looking for. Now, the tomatoes, I'm just going to throw them into the tray just like this. Have a look at that. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get a couple of these garlic cloves and sort of sprinkle them around. I put the onions in the bottom because we're going to put onions in the soup. We normally fry off onions and garlic, but I'm making a soup like this.
I guess at the bottom you'll get the natural sugars from the tomato come through and it will caramelise.
And all the juices will be in the bottom and all the flavour. Now, I'm going to pour some extra virgin olive oil on here, just a nice big splush, as much as you want. Great oil you can use.
This is very healthy, Adrian.
You can use heaps of... This is healthy. This is tasty.
Is very healthy.
This
you know,
is good.
big, beautiful antioxidant-rich flavours and foods in there. I love this.
All the things you love. Now, I'm going to get some salt. Nice amount of the Murray River pink salt straight on there.
Did you know that tomatoes are the only natural form of MSG?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I've just put salt in it. I've just put salt in it, so everyone's got something to complain about. But the salt, I think tomatoes and salt go really well together.
Yeah, it does lift the flavour of a tomato. I agree with that.
And even if you've got a tomato that's raw, you just cut the top off it, put some salt and pepper on it, take a bite of it.
Olive oil on that. That is pretty special and simple.
Now, Zoe, I'm going to pop these into the oven with your buns. They're going to roast for about 20 minutes at 200 C.
Perfect timing.
Nicely caramelised on the top, lots of flavour in there. I'll pop these in, then I'm going to make you a pesto with a bit of difference. I've got some rocket, some basil, some parsley, some macadamia nuts.
Macadamias. I'm a big fan of macadamias. Sweeter, which I love.
Parmesan olive oil and garlic. I can't wait to show you this one. Look at this, Zoe. Lots of caramelisation going on there. Garlic, onions. Perfect. Now, I've got my pot over here. Look at those bread rolls. Yay. I can't wait for them. Now, I've got my pot here. I've put some chicken stock in there already and brought it up to the boil because I want to get this thing going.
And you can really smell the sweetness in the onion and the sweetness in the tomato. It's lovely. Well, very nice.
I suppose instead of sweating it all off in the pan or caramelising it in the pan, we just let the oven do all the hard work.
I like this a lot.
I've got a little bit of garlic here, and I'm just going to cut a few little slices like this, and I'm going to grab some of that extra virgin olive oil that you've got over there. And I've got some spring onions as well. I'm going to cut these nice and fine and cook these with the prawns. As you know, prawns cook in a matter of minutes, so I'm going to throw this straight in.
It's lovely just to have, I believe, prawns a little bit underdone. For me, that's how I like it.
Yep, just cooked. So in goes the olive oil, and I'm just going to throw a couple of those slices of spring onion straight into the pan. You'll see it'll just start to simmer in a second. There's a bit of heat in there. I'm going to put about 3 or 4 prawns in there. Yep. And by the time this is ready, this will be beautiful. I'm going to get you to pass me some salt and pepper first.
Sure.
Because I'll season these up, then I can forget about them and they'll all be done. There we go.
What is one saying you said to me? You have to have salt that makes it taste like the sea?
That's right. Just give that a tiny bit of a stir around. That's happening now nice and quickly. Now, in my pot here, I've got a lovely soup ready to go. I'm going to grab my my bar mix, and what I do is I just tip it on the side here like this. I just want to puree all this up and get it fairly fine. When this is roasted, if you really wanted to, I mean, great flavours there, but if you really wanted to, you could take the skin off. A lot of people don't like the tomato skin there.
I
don't mind it at all. There we go.
So
that's nice and hot. All I'm going to do is give that a little bit of a stir. Flip those little prawnies over, and you can see the prawns are actually nice and red on the other side. But that soup is really thick. Now, if you find it's really thick, what you do is add a little bit more stock. If you can pass me that stock over there, Zoe.
Can we pour that in?
Turn that back on. Stir that on. Pour it in, pour it in. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. A little bit more. That's it. Perfect. And what I'll do is just check the consistency. So I've got a nice soup. I thought it might be a little bit thick, so I had a little bit of extra stock there just in case.
And it's interesting how it's got that lovely creamy colour as well.
It's a beautiful colour. Now I'm going to serve this up for you, Zoe. I've got my nice little bowl here, something a little bit funky. In goes the soup, a couple of ladles of this in there. Look at that, great colour. You know, if you really want to get really technical about it, you could take the seeds and the skin off, but I love it like this, you know? It's all fibre, isn't it? Is that the word you like to use?
Fibre, antioxidants, it's all the good stuff.
There we go, a couple of prawns in there. Now, you know, if you wanted to, you could take the little tails off, but, you know, I like to have the tails on. I think it looks great.
Something to pick it up with.
Exactly, it's like a little handle, isn't it? I put 3 prawns on top of there. They go into the soup, and a little bit of this oil and the spring onion is around there as well. See a little bit of oil there?
Adrian, while you're doing that, I'm going to get us some rolls ready to go. Nice, hot, beautiful rolls.
Steaming rolls, a little bit of that on top. Pesto in there, steaming hot rolls. I've got some butter as well.
I'm going to put a bit of olive oil on mine.
I'm going to put a bit of butter on mine, and I reckon we'll have these together. Look at that butter melt on there. Oh, there's nothing better than lashings of butter on hot bread. Let me taste that. What I'm amazed is the quinoa. I thought it was really stodgy, but this is actually quite light.
It's a light, beautiful, fluffy roll.
It is.
And Adrian, that soup was such a beautiful balance from the roll. The roll's got a tiny bit of sweetness to it, but that is just beautiful. It's fresh, clean.
You can taste the roasted flavour as well, can't you?
Love the roasted, love the pesto in it.
Love the pesto with it. The prawns really push it over the top, but I think they work really well. I love this. I love the bread. Both go together really well.
I really like that pesto. I wouldn't normally think to put a pesto in a tomato soup. Really delicious. I love the harissa in my soup, and I really think these rolls are a winner.